Alright, can we talk?
Do you have a few minutes to talk one-on-one?
I'm sorry, Commander. I need to get my duties squared away.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind talking more later, though.
Oh, really? Okay, then.
Dismissed, Chief.
Sir.
Yeah, I can tell Ash has got, that's bothering her. Whoa! Oh my, look at this. Element and Zero Core. Look at this thing. Wow, this is the engine that powers our ship? Engineer Adams. Oh, we gotta talk to him about this. Let's get this. Let's examine this and this. Let's talk to Engineer Adams and then we'll talk to Tali. Hello, Engineer Adams.
Hey, Commander, you know that Quarian, Tali?
Yeah?
She's been spending all her time down here asking me about our engines.
Is she bothering you?
I'll tell her to leave you alone.
What? No, she's amazing.
Huh.
I wish my guys were half as smart as she is.
He likes
Give her
her.
a month on board and she'll know more about our engines than I do. She's got a real knack for technology, that one. I can see why you wanted her to come along.
Well, she's quite useful, I'm sure.
I figured she'd be a real asset to the team.
Yeah.
You got an eye for Tali, Commander.
Huh.
But I'm guessing that's not why you came down here.
Well, I just want to see how you know, meet my crew. Since this is now my ship, I want to get to know my crew. Tell me about yourself.
Where else have you served, Adams?
If you name a class of Alliance ship, I've probably served on it. Everything from dreadnoughts and carriers right down to frigates like the Normandy.
Huh.
My last assignment was on the Tokyo.
The Tokyo?
Only a cruiser, but she was a good ship. Couldn't hold a candle to the Normandy, though.
Really? Why don't you tell me about my new ship?
I want to know more about the Normandy.
Yeah, tell me about this new
She's
ship
the
I
best
got.
ship I've ever served on. Probably the fastest vessel ever designed.
Really?
She's the only one using the new Tantalus drive core.
Drive core?
What's so special about the Tantalus drive core?
Proportionally, it's about twice the size of any other vessel.
Really?
Not only are we faster, but we can run at FTL speeds longer before we have to discharge the core.
Huh. Tell me about the stealth system.
Fill me in on the IES stealth systems. How does it work exactly?
You can't hide a ship out in space. They emit too much heat and radiation. Too easy for sensors to pick them up. Unless you find a way to capture those emissions. So our stealth systems trap the energy we give off in storage sinks built into the ship itself.
Okay.
No emissions to give away our location. Eventually the sinks have to be vented. More than a few hours silent running and they overheat. Cook us inside our own hull.
Huh, man. So we're invisible?
There's no way for anyone to detect us?
A visual scan can still pick us up. Anyone looking out a window can see us plain as day. But you have to be pretty close to get an actual visual out in space. Most vessels rely on scanners. As long as the stealth systems are engaged, they can't see us.
Cool.
Not unless we accelerate to FTL speeds.
FTL gives us away?
Why doesn't it work with faster than light travel?
That's what it
Cranking up
stands
to
for.
FTL blue shifts our emissions, pushes them into frequencies too high to capture in the sinks. As soon as we make the jump, it's like setting off a flare. Sensors can pick up our location whenever we enter or exit FTL flight, but for short-range missions, our stealth systems are amazing.
Wow.
We've got the only one.
Awesome. Man, this is a great ship. And it's all mine.
Carry on, Adams.
Aye, aye, Commander.
I love my ship. Alright, let's talk to the tech-savvy Tali.
Your ship's amazing, Shepard.
Aw, thank you,
I've
Tali.
never seen a drive core like this before. I can't believe you were able to fit it into a ship this small. I'm starting to understand why you humans have been so successful. I had no idea Alliance vessels were so advanced.
Well, this ship is actually kind of special. Humans didn't make this on their own. We actually got the Turians to help us out.
The Normandy's a prototype. Cutting-edge technology.
Yep.
A month ago, I was patching a makeshift fuel line into a converted tug ship in the flotilla. Now, I'm sitting on board one of the most advanced vessels in Citadel space. I have to thank you again for bringing me along.
Aw, no problem.
Traveling on a vessel like this is a dream come true for me.
Glad to have you aboard, Tali. I take it you're really into ships?
I had no idea you found ship technology so interesting.
It comes with being a Quarian. The migrant fleet is the key to the survival of my people. Ships are our most valuable resource.
Oh, so I guess that would make sense why
But
she's so
we
into
don't have
ships.
anything like this. We make do with cast-offs and second-hand equipment. We just try to keep them running for as long as we can.
Huh.
Some of the fleet's larger vessels date all the way back to our original flight from the Geth.
which I believe, if I recall, yeah, that was 300 years ago.
I can't believe your fleet's still using ships that are 3 centuries old.
They're constantly being repaired, modified, and refitted.
Okay.
They aren't pretty, but they work. Most.
And that's the most important thing. Doesn't matter how they look, it matters if they work.
Independent as
I've
possible
always
on the
believed that
flotilla.
about everything.
Grow our own food, mine and process our own fuel.
Huh.
But some things we just can't make on our own. A patch to maintain the hull integrity requires raw materials we just don't have.
Okay.
That's why our pilgrimages are so important.
Huh. And I've always believed that about everything. It doesn't matter if it looks great, but it doesn't work. It doesn't. Then it doesn't matter how good it looks if it doesn't work. All right, tell me more about the Quarians.
Tell me about your people.
Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the move. Everything we do must in some way contribute to the continuation of the migrant fleet.
Huh.
There are 17 million Quarians in the flotilla, and each of us relies on the others for survival. The bonds among my people are strong. Unfortunately,
Very
we
family-oriented.
have had to surrender many of the freedoms and civil liberties other species take for granted.
Oh, like what?
What kind of freedoms?
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child.
What?
If our population grows too much, it would strain our resources to their breaking
There's
point.
no.
Of course, we also can't allow our numbers to become too few.
Okay.
If our population is in decline, the rule against single births is temporarily repealed.
But what happens if it happened?
In extreme cases of population decline, incentives are even offered to encourage multiple births.
Huh.
Though the Conclave hasn't had to take such measures in nearly a century.
Well, what I want to know is what happens if there is multiple births when that rule is in effect? Do they force you to? Well, I don't want to think about that. That's terrible. I hope that's not the case. Shame I can't ask her about that. What's this conclave that you just mentioned?
That's your government.
Is it?
The Conclave is our civilian branch of government.
Okay.
Each ship can elect a representative to serve on the Conclave and make decisions that affect the fleet as a whole.
Well, that's a lot of
On
representatives.
matters that affect an individual ship, however, the captain has the final say.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's a tradition that dates back to the early days, when the fleet was governed by martial law.
Wow, Marshall.
Fortunately, most captains nowadays are smart enough to have an elected council from their crew
Huh.
to give them advice and guidance.
Yeah, that would make sense. So you're democratic?
So the ultimate power rests with elected
It's
officials.
a democracy?
In practice, the Conclave and the respective council for each ship tend to set the rules that govern our daily lives.
Oh, okay.
But in theory, we are still under military jurisdiction.
Huh.
The 5 top-ranking military officials in the fleet serve on the Admiralty Board.
Mm-hmm.
These 5 have the power to overrule any decision by the Conclave in case of emergency.
So they have the final say.
To do so requires unanimous agreement among the Admiralty. And they can only do this once. After that, the entire board must resign their posts.
Wow.
It's a safeguard that served us well. In nearly 3 centuries, the Admiralty Board has only overruled the Conclave 4 times.
Man. That sounds like a pretty effective government system. Tell me more about your pilgrimage.
I want to know more about the pilgrimage.
When my
Is there a way I can help with that?
We leave our birth ships and seek acceptance with a new crew. It's necessary to maintain genetic diversity among the fleet.
I'm sure it is.
But no ship wants to accept someone who will be a burden on them.
Uh-huh.
So, to prove our worth, we embark on a pilgrimage.
Mm-hmm.
We set out alone, leaving the flotilla and our families behind us. We only return once we have found something of value we can bring back to the fleet.
Okay.
This is presented as a gift to the captain of the respective ship we wish to join.
Mm-hmm.
If the gift is accepted, we are welcomed into the crew.
Do they always accept the gift?
Can a captain choose to reject the gift?
That doesn't happen often. Most captains are eager to increase the size of their crew.
I'm sure they are.
It increases their own standing in our society.
Yeah. That would make sense.
Even when the gift is not particularly valuable, the captain usually accepts it out of a sense of tradition.
Mm-hmm.
However, there is a stigma to presenting a substandard gift.
I'm sure there would be.
It's not the best way to make a good impression on a new community.
Yeah.
Most pilgrims don't return until they find something worthwhile.
Like really, valuable to the crew and to the ship. That would make a lot of sense. And it does sound a bit dangerous though.
I can't believe they just send you off alone.
All by your
It's not
lonesome.
like they just cast us out.
Huh.
Before we leave, we are given lessons in how to survive outside the flotilla.
Okay, so at least they prepare
and given
you.
gifts to help us on our journey.
Oh.
We also receive implants to fight off sickness and disease.
Oh yeah, because of your immune
Generations
systems.
of living in an isolated and highly controlled environment have left our immune systems weaker than most.
Man, that's tough.
By the time we leave the fleet, we are well equipped for the pilgrimage.
Okay.
This is a rite of passage for all Quarians. If it were dangerous, our numbers would suffer.
So it's a rite of acceptance.
Virtually,
That's
every
cool.
pilgrimage ends with a triumphant return and the ritual presentation of the gift to one of the fleet's captains.
Huh. Let's change topics.
I want to talk about something else.
Like what?
A bit of a touchy subject, but it's kind of it's kind of necessary for me to ask you this.